Dan and Amy, all right, closing arguments for some of the key races in Illinois, both Chicago Metro as well as at the statewide level. Starting today, we'll continue them on Monday. So if you didn't hear from the candidate of your choice and the race of your choice, hang on. We can only do so much. We'll get to the other candidates on Monday. But today we start with Willy Wilson for Senate, Mike Friscillon for Congress in the third against that communist, not Schakowsky, the other communist, Marie Newman. Jeannie Ives against Marx's goon, Sean Casten. And then, we'll get to Oberweis, we'll get to Pat O'Brien, we'll get to Dan Patlack, we'll get to Mark Curran. So we begin with Willy Wilson. Of course, you know Willy Wilson, Chicago businessman, ran for mayor, also a philanthropist. He's an independent candidate for U.S. Senate. That's a three-way race between Wilson, Curran, and Durbin. And Willy Wilson, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate having me on.
Yeah, and how are you feeling? Because I know you came down with COVID a few weeks ago, and we're just checking in on that, too.
Yeah, okay, good. And we're pretty good. We're back up to out now. And, cut it down. I believe in Danville, we had 6 of our staff went down there, and 6 of us came back with COVID-19. Quarantined for 15 days. We got it. We checked. It came out negative. There was a lot of soreness, lost of appetite, can't sleep at night, and kind of get disorientated. But we're out of it now. It's real. I can tell you that much.
Oh, no question. Well, the good thing though, since you're under 30, you're most likely to recover from it without incident, right, Willie?
Well, I ain't made 30 yet. They 25.
There you go.
Yeah, right. It's great. I'm glad Amy brought that up, and everybody's interested to hear about you and your staff. Make sure everybody's feeling better, and so that's the good news. So, just give us the closing argument for your candidacy for the United States Senate in Illinois.
Well, based on my line is that Dick Durbin haven't done anything. The taxes are raised in the city. Big business is leaving out of the state, and when business leave out of the state of Illinois, they go your jobs and things go with it too. He sat by and done nothing. I would try to work towards lowering taxes, because when you lower taxes, people don't have to go to Indiana and shop and things of that nature as well. I'm certain for prison reform. He'll sit back and did nothing. But certainly we're giving away 27 million face masks free of charge to the citizens of the state of Illinois, and he sat back and didn't do anything, didn't say anything, wasn't prepared. But what he did do is that he have a lobbyist company, him and his wife, a conflict of interest, and he got to be a millionaire by being a career politician, and I'm not. I donate my all money in my own campaign. It's a big difference between Dick Durbin and myself. He's been at 38 years, and it's time for him to leave.
And how will you, if you get elected to the U.S. Senate, what will change? What's your number one priority?
Well, economic development, equality for all citizens, health care, and, of course, prison reform, and trying to bridge the gap between race relationship as well. We must fight and try to bring jobs back to Illinois. And I say you got to lower these taxes, all right? This situation where voting yes or no for taxes right now, I vote no for it. You can't trust these politicians, things of that nature. And we got to have a law that says that if anybody have a conflict of interest within the Senate, they need to go. They need to be disqualified. You got to look out the health care and things of that nature as well,
And Willie, what's your assessment as somebody who was infected with COVID? What's your assessment of the job that has been done at the state and local level by J.B. Pritzker and Lori Lightfoot, respectively?
Well, I don't think the governor or the mayor have a clue of what's going on. My opinion is that, look, I would not close down these businesses. I would not close them down. I said wear face masks, do social distancing and things of that nature, because you're talking about people's livelihood. If you're going to do something like that, replace their income so they can survive. You know, look, if JV wanted to close down, the governor that has closed things down, all the money that he spent $500 million on running for election, why don't he take some of those dollars and give them to those businesses that he's closing down?
All right. He is Willy Wilson. He's a Chicago businessman, former Chicago mayoral candidate, now an independent candidate for the United States Senate. And people can get more information on your candidacy, Willy Wilson for Senate 2020.com, Willy Wilson for Senate 2020.com. Willy Wilson, thanks always for being with us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck on Tuesday. And now, next up, we are talking to our friend Mike Friscillon, who's a Republican congressional candidate for Illinois' 3rd Congressional District. This is the seat that was held by Dan Lipinski. He defeated, or is until January, but he was defeated in the primary by Marie Newman. And Friscillon has made this race, which has not been competitive in as long as I can remember, back to the 70s. It is competitive now, polling recently showing it within the margin of error. Mike Friscillon, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys.
Morning. So your closing argument, why Mike Friscillon and not Marie Newman?
Well, first, I think you need to pick a candidate that has character, that's honest, and moving to Congress, you need some legislative experience to understand how the government works inside, how to work across the aisle. And I have all that. As you know, I'm a minority leader on the Will County Board and been on the county board for the last 8 years. So I think I have the experience in how the legislative process works. And secondly, I have worked across the aisle. We've moved a lot of things forward. Unfortunately, we couldn't invite you guys to the grand opening of the brand new courthouse in Will County because of social distancing, but we did that a week ago, a brand new 11-story courthouse for $250 million, and we did it all without increasing taxes. And that was working across the aisle. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is the choice is pretty clear. If you want someone that's going to go to Washington and just represent the extremist skew of Bernie Sanders and AOC, my opponent has said, I look forward to working with Congressman Ocasio-Cortez and other progressives in the caucus. And yet, back to honesty, after the primary, she kind of walked it back a little bit and is realizing that defunding the police is not what 70% of the respondents said in a poll in our district. And she's finding out that Medicare for all is not what the union workers, 43% of our population in the 3rd district are union workers, not what they want. So if that's what you're looking for, Socialist Marie Newman's your candidate. But if you want someone that's going to go ahead.
No, sorry to interrupt, but just on the pragmatic political electoral politics of it all, are you getting support from former Lipinski loyalists? Are you getting support from those trade unions that you just referenced? Comprise the workers there comprise a significant portion of your electorate?
Yes, definitely on the Lipinski Democrats. Even some of their worker bees are working for me now. On the unions, a little different story. I'm getting the local support, from the actual workers. The internationals and the nationals, they automatically endorse the Democrat. It could be a monkey. They endorse the Democrat, and that's it. But locally, and of course, the Chicago FOP has endorsed me, and not only endorsed, I mean, they have people walking for me and out there spreading the word, so they've been very supportive.
And why should we vote for you?
Again, if you want somebody that's common sense, mainstream, and supports the actual values of our district, then I'm the one that you should vote for. If you want all of those extremist views of Green New Deal and Medicare for all and doubling and tripling taxes, then my opponent's the choice. So it's pretty simple.
One other thing about Marie Newman, too. I mean, tell me if I have, from some of her comments I've seen her make in the press and some of the tweets and so forth, she strikes me as a particularly aggressively disagreeable person. Like, she doesn't have much consideration and nothing approximating respect for people with whom she disagrees. Is that fair?
Oh, and that seems to be that whole faction, that whole progressive faction. That's kind of their attitude. the taking down the signs, the doing that kind of stuff. It's just like they're right. I mean, when you look at the trolls on Facebook and notifications, you know, the comments they make just don't make sense. Well, if you don't like the person, don't vote for them. But they are pretty aggressive.
Have you gotten at least some late support now that you've proven the race is a close one through some of the recent polling? Have you gotten late support from the Republican Party at the state or the federal level to try to pull this surprise?
No.
Okay.
They just don't get it.
Yeah.
They just don't get it, Dan. They take a look at the numbers that Dan Lipinski had won by against a Nazi and against a person who had no experience the past couple of times, and the name that was in office for 36 years. And they look at those numbers and they go, oh, this isn't winnable. But I think we're going to pull it out.
Well, I hope you prove him wrong. He's Mike Friscillon, Republican congressional candidate in Illinois' 3rd. For more information on his candidacy, Mike Friscillon, that's Fricillone, MikeFriscillone.com. Good luck on Tuesday, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Mike Friscillon.
Onward and upward.
And next up, we're pleased to be rejoined by Jeannie Ives, joining us again, former member of the Illinois House of Representatives for the 42nd District out Wheaton, Naperville Way. And she is the Republican nominee against Sean Casten for Illinois 6. Jeannie, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me on.
Hey, what happened at that last debate that was scheduled? You and Sean Casten, as well as Oberweis and Lauren Underwood, you guys were supposed to do a turn with Phil Ponce on Chicago tonight, and then I tuned in, and it was just you, and then it was just Oberweis, no Casten, no Underwood.
Oh yeah, he backed out of that debate big time. Didn't want to answer questions that I had for him. But then Phil Ponce acted as his right hand man on his team, on his campaign team, by playing one of his ads in the middle of a conversation with me. So.
Mm-hmm. And so, so this is interesting. So it's a larger Democrat socialist strategy to duck debates, as we saw happen at the presidential level as well, effectively. With respect to the close, I know you've made the case before, but here we are, 72 hours away as the race has crystallized. What's the choice you're presenting to voters in Illinois 6?
Well, look, I got involved in politics to solve problems for people while still upholding our constitutional rights and the values that made America exceptional. I mean, and it started out on Wheaton City Council, moved on to the State House. I really just saw that there was a disconnect between the average person just trying to live their lives and what government was doing to them, and somebody had to stand up for them. So I took on every hard fight, and that includes at the Wheaton City Council level. But, now fundamentally this election is about who will uphold your constitutional rights and the values that made America the greatest nation on earth. I mean, to be specific, my opponent has voted against your First Amendment rights already. He has spoken out against your Second Amendment rights already, saying, gun owners obviously have small genitals. Right. I mean, he has absolutely opposed, the free market and would prefer to have government intervention in everything from the healthcare industry to the energy industry. He has no respect for people's personal property rights, which includes your own money, because he wants to repeal the 2017 tax cuts. This is fundamentally what's at stake in this nation. Do you really believe more government and more taxes are going to solve your problems or not? So I'm offering really a wake-up call in Illinois Reveille.
I just can't get over this Reveille, nice military. I just can't get over the Sean Casten's personality. I mean, you think I have an abrasive personality? You think Trump has an abrasive personality? We are Mary Poppins compared to Sean Casten. I just for all of those voters that are voting against Trump for his personality and his tweeting, I mean, how do you reconcile in the suburbs what you hear from Sean Casten on Zoom town halls and on his Twitter feed and his pronouncements in defense of his votes and in indignation over his paltry salary of $175,000 and, how dare you only pay him that much, the hoi polloi. The guy is just remarkable. It's remarkable that he gets any support whatsoever.
Well, and he's a total hypocrite on his signature issue of climate change. Just on a radio interview earlier this week, he's saying, we have to decrease the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. He is personally invested in biomass. Biomass is off 1.5 times the amount of CO2 compared to coal, 4 times the amount of CO2 compared to natural gas. He's a total hypocrite on his signature issue, and he's asking for renewable energy subsidies and COVID relief bills because he's a self-serving tax and spend politician. He knows nothing differently. His $16 trillion green energy plan would destroy our energy independence, which is a national security risk. And, and it's just so self-serving of him to put plans like that in place.
I know, unlike our previous guest, Mike Friscillon, you are getting significant support from both the state, but especially the National Republican Party. Describe that and how instrumental that's been in putting you in position to win.
Well, it's just been terrific. I mean, I'm supported from members from the House Freedom Fund all the way to Kevin McCarthy, leaders in between that. And, we've just got thousands of donors across the United States who have put in their hard-earned money to help win this race because they know what's at stake. It's taken Pelosi out of office. It's taken an extremist like Sean Casten, who is just honestly one of the most undesirable politicians to ever walk the halls of Congress, taking him out of office and putting in good policymakers. And so I have been supported across the nation by great people. That said, we haven't had any large PAC come in and put in $2 million ad buys for me or anything. So this is really a grassroots campaign with hundreds of volunteers that are working hard every day to win on Tuesday. It's been terrific. It really has.
What do you need from people who are interested and may not already be engaged with the campaign? What do you need from them in the next 72 hours to close this out?
We need access to their networks. If they know anybody who lives in the 6th District, the choice is absolutely clear between a big government socialist who denigrates everybody and mocks Christians, by the way. It's the differences between him and me, who stood up for everybody and will continue to stand up against establishment Republicans if I find him there. I'm going to D.C. to get something done. I got a call from Andy Biggs yesterday. And I said, look, I'm not going there to play footsie with anybody. We need to get good policy across for people to make sure they have affordable health care, that they make sure they have access to good jobs and options for college that don't bankrupt their entire family. And we need to get something done for the American people. And I'm not going there to play around with this. And he agrees with me. So you put us all in charge. We will get something done for the American people. And we don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It's just going to be good policy. So anybody can deliver that message to anybody in the 6th District. Please do that. Please help us do that. We will be walking all the way through Monday. We will be phone calling all the way through Tuesday. If you want to get involved, come to our website and sign up to volunteer.
JeannieForCongress.com, Jeannie, JeAnne, JeannieForCongress.com is that website. Jeannie Ives, former Illinois state rep for the 42nd District, now Republican congressional candidate for Illinois 6. Jeannie, thanks for joining us. Good luck Tuesday.
Thank you.
And she joined us, all of them joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Across Kane, Kendall, DuPage, and Cook counties, undecided women are talking about who they want to elect state senator in District 25.
Jeanette Ward is independent. Jeanette has stood up to both parties.
Karina Villa is a puppet in the Mike Madigan puppet show.
Jeanette Ward will oppose